Welcome back to WICR's election coverage. I'm Matt Ricker. I'll be leading today's coverage on WICR. I'm live on Facebook, and these videos will be uploaded to Ustream once I'm done with all these updates. And then starting at 6 o'clock tonight, I'll be live on Ustream. But for the time being, I'm on Facebook Live. So, yeah, so. Now, in this segment, I just want to discuss what states that matter and what states have to be focused on for the candidates. So right now I have the electoral map from realclearpolitics.com. Currently, Clinton stands at 203 electoral votes, while Mr. Trump stands at 164. Currently, there are 171 toss-ups. So that's going to be a crazy thing later. I voted this morning, and we'll see what happens later. It's going to be a big one. But so right now, I'm looking at the map. And in Nevada, there's 6 up for grabs. Arizona, 11. New Mexico, 5. Colorado, 9. North Carolina, 15. Georgia, 16. Florida, 29. Pennsylvania, 20. Ohio, 18. Michigan, 16. New Hampshire is 4. And Maine is 2. So a lot of things to watch out for. I heard yesterday and this morning that in Ohio, Trump seems to be leading. In Pennsylvania, it's too close to call. In Nevada, it's probably going to be Democratic later. Still battleground right now. Early voting seems to be in Clinton's favor, as there's been more Latino and Hispanic voters voting there. In Arizona, that's typically Republican. Michigan, though, was a shocker to the Clinton campaign over the weekend because it seemed to be changing in Trump's favor, and Michigan has historically been Democrat, along with North Carolina, but those two might be going in Trump's favor, so we'll have to see what happens with that. If you have any thoughts on the Electoral College, feel free to tweet me at MattRicker5, and I will discuss your comments on air. South Carolina seems to be leaning Trump. Wisconsin, Minnesota, Oregon, Connecticut, and Maine are leaning Clinton. Likely Clinton is Illinois, New Jersey, Washington State, Rhode Island, Delaware. Those are solid Clinton. In Indiana, which Mike Pence is the governor there, Texas, Missouri, Utah, Montana, South Dakota, Tennessee, Alaska, Kansas, Nebraska are all solid Trump states. So pretty interesting there. Now, if you look back at the 2012 election, Obama won by 332, whereas Romney didn't even get close to 270. He got 206. Now, if you look at Virginia, that was won by Obama. North Carolina, I thought, I said before that it went to Obama, but I think I was wrong because it says North Carolina went to Romney. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. Florida went to Obama. Donald Trump must win majority of Florida if he wants to make the White House. Ohio went to Obama. So a lot of those swing states went in Obama's favor. So that's pretty interesting there. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But definitely Obama back in 2012 had a big lead over Romney. So we'll have to see what happens with that. So now moving on to some other news. Over the weekend, Clinton was once again cleared by FBI Director Comey. This was kind of a shocker because it's suspicious that he was able to go through over 600,000 emails in a short period of time, and they claim that they used software and that most of those emails were duplicates. I don't know about that, but we'll have to see what happens in the coming months. Now, there's been speculation that James Comey violated department policy by notifying Congress that that investigation was reopening. Many experts have said that that was a very bad mistake and very bad judgment that he went public again after saying that the investigation was closed. Then he said it was reopened, and now he said it's closed again. So I don't know. It'll be interesting, and no matter who wins the White House, the investigation into the Clinton Foundation and the emails will probably be ongoing. I did hear definitely the Clinton Foundation will be continued because there's been a lot of speculation on where the money is going, and there's been a lot of, you know, things going on with where this money is going and who it's going to and whether it's actually helping people. So we'll have to see on what happens there. Governor LePage in Maine, I'm just getting this news, has been accused of voter intimidation. He's currently under fire. Now, Maine has historically been sometimes a swing state. It's unclear which way it'll go this way. But he's accused of intimidating college students by saying students who vote in Tuesday's election will be investigated to make sure they follow state law, whatever that means. But the Republican governor's comment comes after officials at a private liberal arts college in Lewiston said flyers distributed on campus with incorrect information about residency and fees are, quote, a deliberate attempt at voter suppression. The orange flyers were found at numerous dorms at Bates College as well, and it's unclear who was responsible for the flyers. So it's that'll be interesting too. And don't forget, despite what the Electoral College says, it could change many times. So that'll be interesting to see there. So, it'll be interesting to see whose favor it goes to. It's very close in a way. And if either candidate doesn't get the required 270 votes, the House of Representatives will then have to vote on a candidate to see who wins. And as we know, the House of Representatives is predominantly Republican. They have a lead over the Democrats. So that'll be interesting as well to see there. But also this hasn't been talked about so as much because this election has been in the news for a while now. But President Obama's job approval rating on the way out, according to CBS, a CBS News New York Times poll that was taken between October 28th and November 1st, it has been a 54% approval rating, whereas 54% approve of Obama's job and 40% disapprove. So that's an interesting number as well. He's probably happy that the attention has been taken off of him because with this election, and he's been criticized in the past for some things. So we'll have to see what his approval rating comes down to after the election. He's been out campaigning with Hillary Clinton, and he did cancel a couple of appearances in a few rallies because of this whole email thing. He didn't want his legacy to be tarnished by this. So very interesting. And another hot topic that's been discussed, and Hillary Clinton has been distancing herself from this, it seems, but the approval on the health care law, Obamacare. And it says, according to Pew Research, back in April, a few people were surveyed by Pew Research, and 44% of Americans that were surveyed are for it. 54% are against it. So that's really concerning, and especially the recent announcement by Obama that premiums will be raised about 25% next year. So that's a real concern for people who currently are enrolled in Obamacare, and so whether they'll be able to afford that or not, because it's significant, the deductibles and the amounts that people pay each month. And a lot of insurance corporations have pulled out of that, and they're not, they've said repeatedly that they're not going to be doing it. So, that'll be really interesting. And a lot of the issues in this election, unfortunately, were not discussed, such as the economy and foreign policy. The candidates just brushed it off and simply didn't talk about it at all in some of the debates. As you know, that there were 3 debates that happened this past year, in the past few weeks, and it's been very interesting. I mean, emails and the tape that was released of Trump saying those derogatory things about women, that was talked about. Both candidates were grilled about those issues, and a lot of voters were very disappointed on the stances and where they stand, and that was really disappointing to me. And for those of you that don't know, this is my first election. I voted at 7 a.m. this morning, and there were quite a few people there, so that was good to see that. People were out and about voting that early. I always like to do it early just to get it over with. But my first presidential election, so that's a big plus for people my age. This is definitely an election that will go down in the books. But I'm just seeing some new developments happening in New Hampshire now. In Manchester, Donald Trump campaigned at a packed rally on Monday night, rallying the same supporters who gave him his first political victory 9 months ago in the Republican primary, which set him on the path which ends today. This is according to RealClearPolitics.com. And midnight voting began there. Midnight voting. I mean, that's very interesting that state has midnight voting. But it's unclear who's winning, because who's winning the state of New Hampshire, because different towns have been, different districts rather, have been voting in different parties. So a former aide, Ryan Williams, which was on the Romney campaign, says that Trump had a legitimate shot to carry the state, but pointing out the lack of early voting and the fact that New Hampshire voters are mostly white, which means there is no large majority or minority vote to boost Clinton. So that'll be interesting there to see what that is all about. But that's all I have for right now, and I'll come back in a couple of minutes to discuss more developments on this election. It's going to be a big one, so do stay with me here on Facebook Live, and I'm currently recording on Ustream, so all the videos will be posted a little later. So thanks again for joining me, and I'll be right back.